So this is probably going to sound kind of strange, but when I was 17 years old, I started working at a funeral home in my local town. And I basically got my foot in the door because I was a church organist locally, and the pastor there knew the local funeral director and said, "Hey, I've got an organist here that he could play for funerals." So I end up going to this funeral home, which was like right down the road from my high school. And I remember having the job interview, sitting there on the organ bench, and there was actually, not to be morbid, but there was a dead body that was right next to me that was actually on display. Most likely going to be for a funeral upcoming viewing. And yeah, so I'm like sitting there having my interview on the organ bench with a dead body literally right next to me. And I remember it just being the most bizarre feeling. But I'm not going to lie, I did actually have kind of a morbid curiosity. It wasn't like in a sick and twisted kind of way. I was already in the medical field, so I had kind of an eclectic background. So here I was, this church organist, and I was also an EMT for my local rescue squad on the ambulance. And at the time, I was actually the youngest member of the rescue squad. Because again, I was just 17 years old. And so, death is an inevitable part of that job sometimes, unfortunately. But I kind of was just curious about the other side. Because, it's something that happens to all of us, but it's really something that's kind of hushed and not talked about. So long story short, I ended up getting the job, and that's how it starts. I end up playing for funerals on the side, and I'm still playing at this church too. And the pastor that from my church, he's also working at the funeral home as an usher. And so sometimes it's the three of us, me, the funeral director, and the pastor working together. But anyways, this is part one of a funeral series if anyone's interested.